world. The weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Country with Celine. I am your host, Celine Chamarky, and on today's show, we have Derek Austin.
So who's gonna be the broken? Who's gonna break the heart? Who's gonna do the leaving? And who's gonna wear the scars? Someone's gotta feel it, and someone's gotta pull it. Who's gonna walk away? And who's gonna take the bullet?
Derek, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Okay, so Friday, July 29th, big day for you. You have Midnight on a Map coming out. How excited are you for that?
I'm really stoked. It's going to be fun.
Now, what can you share about this single?
Oh, man. Well, I pretty much just, I kind of had the idea in my phone for a little bit. Sometimes in the writer's room or just like getting ideas ready for the writer's room, you'll kind of like do wordplay either from an idea you write down or something, you know, if you're reading a book or something, you know, a movie, something like that. You'll kind of mix and match the words, and you'll try to do a little like alliteration where like the M's of Midnight on a Map. Usually little stuff like that makes it easier to sing, and subconsciously people don't realize that, but it's more catchy. And so I kind of was toying with that idea, and I brought it in to a couple of guys that, man, I bet I had it in my phone though for like maybe 6 months. And one day I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna write today. And I was going back through my hook book is probably, there has to be a couple thousand ideas in there. And I just was like, oh, I'll throw this out. And I was with Ben Williams, who's a great writer in town. He's really good buddy of mine. And then Colin Healy. And Colin actually plays bass for Dustin Lynch. So he's kind of on the road a lot. And then on his days back in Nashville, he's writing. And so he built a really cool track. And once we got rolling, it was like, man, it was just really cool. So, and then Colin ended up co-producing it with Jimmy Robbins. So,
Well, it's almost Friday, and that song's almost going to be out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's kind of just, it's just about the idea kind of going into it was like just this small town that's like from the outside, everything's sleepy, but there's a party going on at midnight. Nothing more than that, but it's just kind of a barn burner. So it's fun.
I love how you said it's a catchy title, because it is a catchy title, but it's also a tongue twister. I had a little bit of trouble trying to pronounce map dot when I first said it. So I mean, are you gonna stumble upon the words? Like, I feel like it might happen at one point or another, because it is a tongue twister when you really say it, don't you think? Like, say it three times fast. Say it 3 times fast. Go.
Midnight on a Map dot, midnight on a Map dot, midnight on a Map dot.
Okay, you know what?
I mean, I've been doing promo for this for months now.
So you're very solid with that word then.
Yeah, I feel like we say that word a lot. In all honesty, like the day I threw it out, I was like, no, don't say it. Like, I remember my roommate's girlfriend, before I wrote that song, she was like, oh, great. Like, one of my buddies had a song and the word map dot was in it. And she was like, oh, great. Another country song with map dot in it. And I was like, ooh, that's brutal. But anyways, I think that it's just cool enough of a song that we get by and do it. And it's still cool. Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a really cool song once that gets out. And I feel like lots of fans want to know what else is in the works for you. Do you have another song up your sleeve for maybe September or December? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, we have, we actually went in the studio, and I'm working with Jimmy Robbins still. And we went in, we cut 6 sides. So we have them all mastered, and we're just kind of slowly dropping them. So we do have some really cool stuff that one of them in particular, I mean, I'm excited about all of them. but one of them in particular is going to be huge, I feel like, and I think that people are really going to love it. So it's so hard knowing like what people are going to love and what they're not going to love. But sometimes you have a feeling going into stuff that's like The Bullet. We kind of knew The Bullet was really a good song. And just going into that, kind of had a hunch that it was going to be big. So now I'm excited. I feel like I wish I could tell people more, but I'm kind of like,
it's okay. Keep it reserved. Keep it reserved. The secret until it's time to come out. The best time when you can actually test songs is #1 TikTok. I'm sure you know that it's huge. And when you perform the song live, even before it's released, like at Live Oak or Whiskey Jams, like wherever in Nashville, when you perform it, then you can see how the audience reacts to it. Have you done that with any of the songs? Yes?
I have.
Okay.
That's kind of usually the kind of the way we do it is like we write the song, and then like the first day you write a song, everyone's excited about it usually. And then the next day you wake up and you're either like, oof, it's not that good. Or you're like, dang, like it slowly grows on you. And so that's the first hoop you jump through. If it keeps growing on you, then, you know, people at the office or people on my team, or I just trust a lot of people around me. I'll send it to buddies. I'll send it to, you know, I'll talk with my manager and, you know, the girls that help me with social media and just kind of like bounce stuff off of everybody. And the more that it keeps coming back, like, whoa, but we should start playing this out. And then you kind of play it out and just test what, if people love it there, and put it on TikTok, see if people like it there. And it's kind of, I guess, like what A&R kind of does, or like, especially what they used to do. You know, they used to like, A&R was artist and repertoire, is like testing songs to decide what they were going to send to radio.
Oh, okay.
Before there was a TikTok, right? Before they were like kind of in charge of like at record labels, like figuring out, is it going to be a big idea or not? So when you're independent like me, you basically like the people, they're kind of deciding. They're kind of just like, especially when it's on TikTok, they're kind of the A&R now. So.
Oh yes, people on TikTok are not afraid to say if a song sucks or if a song rocks. They're very honest on TikTok.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not always accurate. Sometimes TikTok's like a bad song goes viral, and you're just like.
Yeah. Or a really bad, like dumb TikTok goes viral, and it's the stuff that you actually want to go viral doesn't go viral. And it's like, I wasted so much time on these good TikToks for this one stupid one, not even of me, to go viral.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you do?
What do you do? You got to understand the algorithm. I guess that's all it is. But lots of people love your songs, and lots of playlists love your songs. So your songs have gotten added to lots of notable playlists. So is there one that stands out where when you saw it got added, you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening?
Man, I mean, Spotify has been really good to us. They've added us to Next from Nashville, Young Country. I'm trying to think all the different. I mean, they've added us to a lot. Apple Music is also. I just saw that they put Paycheck on a song or on a playlist at Apple Music that's called Tailgate, and it's been on there for a year. They just left it on there, and like. I'll randomly get people will like be like, they're listening to your song Paycheck on the beach. I'm like, man, I thought everybody forgot about that song. But man, I don't think there's one that really sticks out to me.
Fair enough.
More than any. What I do really love to do is on my artist app. So Spotify has like Spotify for artists, and it looks like the green Spotify app, but it's blue. And you sign in and you can see people listening real time. You can see where they're listening. It breaks it down where your biggest fans are. You'll see, it'll list cities. Like, we'll be like, dang, people are listening in Norway right now. Or like, you know, anyways. So I do love to go on there, and it blows me away because it'll be like like 5,000 playlists where you're just like, and that's just, some of them are big Spotify playlists and some of them are just like people that it'll show up, it'll technically be called a playlist once the song has been played 25 times. So
okay.
people will, even just for themselves, they'll throw it in a playlist, but that means they're listening to it a lot, you know, which is really cool. So
that's interesting to hear from that side, that point of view, because I obviously I don't have that on my phone because I'm not a Spotify artist. So it's interesting to hear how you guys can see all the different people that are listening to it currently. That's wild. And obviously hearing people from Belgium or Germany or wherever listening to your songs too. What's like the furthest place or like a country that you never thought your songs would be heard, and when you saw it you're like, wow, this is really interesting?
I mean, like the farthest, technically I wouldn't even know like what's the far. I know that we have fans in Indonesia,
That's
like
cool.
Bali. I don't know. I mean, we have like Germany's a huge one. The UK is pretty big. It's surprising. Just Ireland. For some reason, country music's pretty big in Ireland. So you wouldn't think that, but like I don't know like what else is further than that. I think we've had a little bit in Beijing, maybe, but I don't know.
That's still, honestly, that's such an accomplishment in itself. I mean, wherever people are listening to your songs, that's an accomplishment. Now let's find out how you got into this industry. So tell the viewers where exactly you're from, first of all.
So I grew up in Minnesota, in northern Minnesota, up by Duluth.
Okay, and now you're living in Nashville. But before you went to Nashville, you were living in Alaska because you were an air traffic controller. So explain this jump, please.
Well, I guess it wasn't, the air traffic control was the big jump. So growing up in Minnesota, was a huge country fan. We had a dairy farm. It was not the only radio station we got was country. You know, all the hours on the tractors and planting corn and riding around pickups and whatnot. Like that's pretty much all we listened to was country. So I was a huge country fan, and then I kind of learned a little bit how to play guitar, and I kind of like I sang in church for a little bit, and I wasn't very good, but like I did it, and I got bit by the bug. And then basically like in 2010, we sold the farm because the economy, you know, we had issue with the economy, and our creamery was actually in Canada. And they were buying all our milk, and they basically were like, look, no one's buying the cheese. We're going to drop a bunch of producers, and you guys are one of them. And we're not going to buy your milk anymore. So we didn't have anybody to sell the milk to. And we basically had to, sorry, my dog is.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, come here.
He's really scratching.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So sorry about that.
No,
So,
don't worry.
Anyway, so basically the plan was, I think, for a long time, me and my brother were just gonna, me and a couple of my brothers, we were gonna try to do the dairy farm thing. And when that kind of fell apart and we had to sell everything, basically I kind of was like, well, I had a buddy that I was working at the casino there in the wintertime, and he was like, hey, I got a buddy that is going into air traffic control. They need to hire a bunch of guys. And it's okay. Yeah, come here.
Honestly, Derek, don't worry. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. All right, there you go, buddy. Maybe he'll be more quiet now. Anyways, so my buddy I was working at this casino, and my buddy was like, you know, a bunch of controllers are going to need to get hired, whatever. And I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life at that point. I was like 19. I was like, do I go to college, or what do I do? So I was just like, screw it. I'm going to go to college for that, since the economy crashed. You can't do the dairy farm thing anymore. And I thought it'd be cool because it'd be hands-on, and it would be like good money and interesting. It wouldn't be like an office job. So that was basically it. It was just like, all right, I'll do it. Screw it. So I went to Washington, went to college out in Washington, and they kind of have specialized schools for air traffic control. There's not a ton of schools that do that. There's like maybe 15 or something in the US. So I went out there, got my degree in aviation science, and then I went to Oklahoma City, which is where the academy is for air traffic control. So went there, graduated there. When I was done, to Alaska. So it was in Juneau. I did that for about a year up there. And then I was just like, man, I really want to do music. Like, all I could think about was I started to write songs and put covers on YouTube. And I was just like, my heart wasn't landing planes. So I'd just stare out the window and just be like,
yeah. Like, what are you doing with your life? Yeah.
Basically, I kind of knew it was just like, I didn't know anybody in Nashville, but I knew it was one of those moments that was like, you either got to do it when you're young, or you're just going to wish you did it your whole life. And so I would have had to stay there for 5 years just to request to move to Nashville and be a controller here. And I was just like, no way. I'm just gonna quit. So,
you know what? Honestly, this is so off topic, but I'm so envious of you Americans because you guys have so many states you can move to. I mean, you can go from somewhere really cold to somewhere hot, somewhere cold to or like cold to hot or hot to cold. Like, you guys can go anywhere and it's just easy. Like, for me to move to the States, there's a process and a half. Like, you have to obtain like so much stuff, go through such a process to make sure that you're not a criminal and this and that. So it's nice that you guys can that's why when you're saying you just went from Minnesota to Alaska to Nashville, I'm like, wow, what a life. But at least you figured out like what you wanted to do. I mean, sometimes it takes you go through different steps, and I mean, there's a reason for everything, right? And then if finally you'll come to terms of what you actually want to do, then you'll get to where you want to do it. It takes time, and you really just got to trust the process, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if the dairy farming would have continued to work out, if the economy didn't crash, I'd still be doing that.
Yep.
And I definitely would not have moved to Nashville if that was still working. So that led me to air traffic control, which basically was like the hardest thing I had ever done. And I was like, man, if I'm going to work this hard just to land planes, why don't I work this hard to try to write songs for somebody and really go for it. So
yeah, you always had a love for music deep down inside of you, or else this passion would not be brewing inside you for you to actually get up and move to Tennessee, move to Nashville, right?
Yeah, I think it was just kind of like always boiling under the surface.
Yeah.
It took part of it, like it just took the nerve. Like I kind of was like never like performing in front of people. I was always just kind of like more reserved, more quiet in the back. So it was basically just like you got to have a little bit of just crazy in you, I think, to just want to do it. So.
Well, now you're performing in front of people.
Yeah, I know. It took a little while, like figuring out, okay, if I'm really going to do this, I have to be okay with performing in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can't be nervous, none of that. Well, I mean, you can be nervous, but to a certain extent, because then at one point or another, you're going to have to kind of throw away the nerves and go out and and sing a song, right?
Yeah, I think like the first year here in town, I was pretty nervous whenever I would play. But you do it so many times that you just kind of like, it's just like second nature. So.
Mm-hmm. And now before I continue with country music, I just want to backtrack a little bit here. So air traffic controller, have you ever watched the show Mayday? Do you know that show Mayday, about all the airplanes that like crash?
No.
Well, there was a story about an air traffic controller that screwed up and ultimately 2 planes crashed. So I'm not saying that you did this. Like, I'm not saying that this is something that, pardon?
Oh, I was going to ask you, is it a movie or was it a documentary?
It was a documentary. So like Mayday, it's like an hour-long docu-series of like certain tragic events, or not even tragic. Like sometimes it's just like certain things that happen, but everybody survives.
Right.
But anyways, my question is, have you ever been in like, not you exactly, but like since you were surrounded in that situation, like you were around air traffic controllers, have you ever been around like close calls or no?
Well, let me go back. So the what you're referring to, Mayday must be something where they went and recreated or whatever. But we did study that event in school.
Oh, so the one with when the air traffic. Oh, okay. Well, that's good that you guys studied
There was
that.
intersecting runways, and they were both launched at the same time, and everybody died. But basically,
Oh, that was a different one. That was a different one.
Okay. Which one are you talking about?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, it's still a sad story, but mine was midair. They were midair, and it was a nighttime, and they couldn't see anything, and then the two planes just collided. Like he said, like go higher, and the other one went lower, and then. But anyways, sad story. But I was just continue with that answer.
Well, basically, so we didn't study that one, but we did study a lot of accidents and kind of what went wrong and what the controllers did wrong. And so I was fortunate that I never saw or had anything happen when I was doing it. And it's super rare. Like in the United States, the last, if I'm correct, if I remember correct from school, the last big accident we had was in the 70s. And I mean, you'll have planes that will land and the tire will blow out, or the guy will, the plane will catch on fire, or little stuff like that. But just actual jetliners colliding, just the guys and gals that do it on a daily basis are top of the top. And the schooling is just like, now that I've been through all that, when I step on a plane, I can sleep like a baby. Like, I just know, I know behind the curtain and how well it's done. And I know, friends that are still doing it. And there's no, it's not that they just don't have room to mess up. There's so many safety catches in place that just don't allow it to happen. So,
okay.
I wouldn't be worried about it at all.
That was my follow-up question. If being in that industry, if you're more comfortable getting on planes. I hate planes. So I'm like, to hear you say that, okay, that kind of settles my nerves a litto bit too.
Yeah, you learn a lot about, I had to do a lot of, simulation training where I had to learn how to fly planes. And basically, like, if a guy and his wife are flying and he's the pilot and he has a heart attack, I can talk the wife through how to land the plane. So we kind of went through all that training, and you learn that planes themselves are just, you could literally cut the engines and just glide it down and safely land it. Helicopters are different. We won't talk about helicopters. Yeah.
Nope.
That's
no.
The one thing I did learn in air traffic control is that I don't like helicopters. So
noted, never to go on a helicopter, thanks to Derek Austin. Okay. Okay, now jumping back to country music. So now you're living in Nashville. Who were your influences when you were younger and you used to listen to lots of country music? Because that's what you were saying back on the dairy farm. You used to listen to country music. Who were your influences growing up?
And growing up, it was a lot of like I remember being like really young in seeing like billboards of Randy Travis and hearing his songs and thinking he was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably Randy Travis really early on. And then it kind of morphed into like Alabama and Alan Jackson. Then eventually, like, Kenny Chesney was kind of when I was a teenager. I went and I saw him. It was like life changing. Just, think it was at We Fest, and it was like, I want to say like 65,000 or 68,000 people. And it was just insane. Like the energy was amazing. It was like rock and roll, basically, like big stadium drums. And so going from Randy Travis to that, it was like, ooh. And he was singing songs that I related to, songs like, you know, The Boys of Fall was like a big one. But even like, I remember like There Goes My Life. And I'm sitting there singing about, like, I'm like 16. I don't even understand what he's singing about, like babies and diapers. And I'm just like, man, I feel this. But I guess it's slowly more, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Luke Combs fan now. Riley Green, Morgan Wallen. Back in the day, like Sugarland, I loved Sugarland.
Yes.
Kind of just great songs. I just loved great songs. Eric Church.
I love the diversity of the country artists that you've just been naming right now.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really I wasn't too latched on to one person.
That's good though. That's good. It's good to have a variety of different artists that you like rather than just one that you're constantly listening to, because you can't really grow from that either.
Right. I know still to this day, I love my release radar on Spotify, because I can go in every week and just be like, okay, here's the new songs that are out, and get a good feel for that. And I'll just, maybe a new album will be out and it'll be Blake Shelton. And I'm like, typically I wouldn't be maybe necessarily like a huge Blake Shelton guy, but I'll go through and listen to every song, and maybe not the whole song, maybe the verse and chorus. And chances are there's a song in there that I'm going to love. You know, one song out of 13 I will absolutely love. And it comes out of the weirdest places. It comes from artists you didn't think you would like, artists that, like, I try to just stay mentally nimble, because it's always the artist that you're like, oh, I don't like them anymore. And then all of a sudden they've got a song that just slams.
Do you ever jam out to your own songs?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
full blast as you're driving.
Oh yeah. Not when they're out. At that point, you've already listened to them a lot. But like, I'll be the first person to admit, like, when you get a song back from a write, you kind of have that oh shit moment where you're like, I knew it was good in the room, but the track guy will finish it, and you're just like, holy shit, this is really good. And you kind of just, it slowly starts to hit you like a tidal wave, you know, where it's just like, okay. And you might listen to it, like, I'll listen to a song 100 times, you know.
Hey, it's really a good song. If it's a good song, you got to listen to it.
Right. And it really helps, like, for learning the lyrics and being able to just go play it at a writer's round or at a show or whatever. Like, you just don't even forget the lyrics if you truly love the song. It's just muscle memory at that point. So,
well, speaking about writer's rounds and playing live, do you have any upcoming shows?
Tomorrow night, I'm playing Why Not Wednesday with a great lineup. So everybody should check it out. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, so, totally.
To be honest with you, I don't even know what time we go on, but 7:00. Just show up.
Yes, well, if you live in the Nashville area, be sure to show up for that. That would be a lot of fun. And now, Derek, before I let you go, let's just chat quickly. How's your summer been so far? Has it been good?
It's been great. I can't complain. It's been real busy, and actually just got back from Yellowstone, so that was really fun. Me and my brothers and my mom, we all went up to Yellowstone. I have 3 brothers, and they all have more kids than I can count. So lots of nieces and nephews.
Are you the youngest one?
No, I've got a younger brother that has 3 kids right now that are like his kids, and then he's got his wife has 2 kids from before that. So they have a full full house.
A full house
Yeah.
for sure. Did you guys go camping in Yellowstone?
We didn't. We decided to get a big cabin just because the kids are like so young. Personally, I'm like the most memorable time camping. I love camping and I love extreme outdoor stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you have a deer behind you.
Oh yeah, that's my roommate's, but mine is over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like I camped with a couple buddies in northern Washington State on Mount Baker, and it was like pretty cold at night. We got everything set up. We made dinner, and then it snowed like 6 inches, and we didn't even know it was going to snow. Like we woke up and it was like open the tent and just snow everywhere.
Oh.
And that's kind of I really love extreme stuff. If it's ice fishing, if it's snowmobiling, if it's just camping in really harsh conditions. If you have the right gear, it's fun. So we got a cabin, but I'm a big camper. So
you're an outdoorsy guy. You're an outdoorsy guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I had a Tinder, that's what it would say. Outdoorsy guy.
Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that at all. Now, Derek, last thing. What's something that fans don't know about you and that you've never told anybody? Let's hear it. A secret.
Something that fans don't know about me.
Yes. Now they know you're an outdoorsy guy. What else is there?
Trying to think. I usually am just like, I tell everybody everything. So I'm trying to think of something that I haven't told people.
So you're an open guy too.
Yeah, now they know that. With the exception of going to British Columbia, I've never been out of the United States. So.
Whoa. BC is the only place that you've been outside of the States.
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
Not Europe. Nothing. What's your background? Are you just there that you're ethnicity?
I mean, on my grandpa's side, he's Greek, Albanian. My grandma's like Polish, Czechoslovakian. We're just a mix of everything. But my uncle does go over to Greece every summer, and he goes on this back to like the village where like our great grandpa had our whole family was like from there, and he goes back there all the time, and he's really kind of into that whole thing. So I just haven't had a chance to go back there with him, but I kind of want to do it because he'll do like the Bible Lands tour and go like through like all the cool little spots and real historic stuff. So
Greece,
I got to do it. Bucket list for sure.
Yes, you have to go and visit that side because honestly, it's so beautiful and there's so much to see over there. So next time he goes, you should travel along with him. I
know. That's I've been telling him like, hey, next time you go, I really want to go. So hopefully it works out with everything we're doing here and we can fit it in because he usually goes for like a month. He'll just like.
Okay, that's long. That's long. But if you can squeeze that into your calendar, I recommend doing that because that's something that you'll never forget. It's going to be a memory forever. And I'm sure the food over there is very good too.
Yeah, I agree. I really want to. Also, like Tijuana. I mean, I'm surprised I've never been like just over the border.
To where? Say that again.
Just like into Mexico.
Oh, into Mexico. I did not hear. I thought you were trying to say Toronto and you just completely butchered the name.
No. Like I said Tijuana, but like, yeah, my brother's a Marine and he got like banned from going in there because he was right on the border of Arizona and Mexico. And they would just go down there and just get hammered and, cause trouble. So that the Marines were like, you can't keep going back and forth.
Oh, what a life though. Wow.
I know. But Someday, maybe I'll drag him down there now that he's not in the Marines anymore.
Yeah, you guys should totally go. And it's attached to the States. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so you got to go. Well, thank you so much, Derek, for chatting with me today on Country with Celine. Really appreciated having you on. And we're so excited to hear the new release on Friday and all the new releases to come.
Well, thanks for having me, Celine. And I really appreciate it. We got to do this again.
I got a shotgun seat just waiting on a sweet little ride.